let's kick this off, everybody. Thank you so much. This is our last breakout session of the day, and then we have all sorts of fun parties this evening. I'm very excited to welcome to the stage Pierre-Emmanuel from STMicroelectronics. He's got a lot of awesome topics to talk to you about today. FinOps best practices, cost allocation, and focus benefits, my personal favorite. Let's give him a big round of welcome.
Thank you.
Great energy.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. I am the last presentation of the day, so I will try not to bore you too much so far. So I am Pierre-Emmanuel NUIRY, working for STMicroelectronics. I am based in Switzerland, Geneva, working for ST now since 1995 and as a FinOps since 2020 so far. I used to be cloud at ST program manager, which brings me naturally to the FinOps role so far. So first of all, a little bit of introduction about STMicroelectronics. I will call it ST, which is a short name for my company. ST is not so much known by the individual because we don't produce any final product. So we are a relatively large company of 50,000 employees, doing basically $17–18 million revenue per year. We are worldwide. We have 14 main manufacturing sites around the world. Initially, ST is a French-Italian company, but we are based in Geneva. So far, we have basically four business divisions. The first one is automotive. I am quite sure that you are all using an ST chip in your car. We are giving chips or selling chips to all the major manufacturers like Tesla in America. In Europe, you have Renault, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and I forget. We are selling chips to Japanese car, to Korean and China car as well so far. And if you don't have such a brand, you probably have an injection from Bosch or Maniti Marelli, or you have the light from Valeo or whatever. So you are one of indirect customer of my company, for the company for which I am working. So, second domain is making home and city smarter. So it is all what is the chip for the domotic. I mean, alarms, what you have at home, or every electronics that you can use in the city, like the automatic lights or whatever. I don't know all the usage of it, but at least this is a strong domain where we are focusing on. The next one is industrial. Alors, industrial is the world of the robots or all the power device chips. You have a light to switch on, but it's 220 volts. Here we are also producing chips for very strong, powerful voltage, like 380 or even above. So this is the domain of industrial. And finally, this is everything which is linked to IoT. So the accelerators, the GPS, the MEMS, or everything which is around the computer peripheral. I give you an example. Everyone knows this one. This is a chip which is on the ink cartridge, which is telling you you cannot use anymore your black cartridge because it is empty. Okay? So far, this is a company. Inside this company, we have the Digital Transformation and Information Technology called DTIT. Inside DTIT, we have this Cloud Center of Excellence, and I will give you a little bit information about it. The first one, inside the 50,000 employees, we are only 1,200 employees working for digital transformation and information technology. We are organized with business domain like product lifecycle, ERPs, manufacturing, digital experience solution, or infrastructure services. We are surrounded with, let's say, transversal organization like enterprise architecture, cyber security, which is very important, the governance. And one of my favorite one, it is the financial controller, because it is one of my biggest customers as a FinOps. Inside the DTIT, we have the Cloud Center of Excellence, which is a virtual team, which is belonging, let's say, under the digital experience solution. We are 11, mainly architects. I am probably the only one which, I am not architect, I am more used to be program director. So far, all the rest are composed of architects. And we have what you call brokerage members 6 persons from purchasing, legal, GDPR, what else? Financial controllers, the famous persona, which are named for the FinOps, by the FinOps Foundation. And we have 19 cloud practitioners, which are people inside the yellow boxes, which are cascading the decision of the Cloud Center of Excellence and try to make them applied inside the different organizations. Inside the Cloud Center of Excellence, we have another virtual team, which is the FinOps team. We are very few. I am full-time. I have a cloud architect at 20%. I have a security architect 5%, infrastructure architect 10%, tooling and SLA monitoring 30%, and SysOps 40%. What I want to say here, even if we are a very small team, I do remember that for FinOps is saying that for the buildings that we have, we should be minimum 4. We are only 2. We can do great things if you have a motivating team. So we are lucky this is a team that we have inside the company. Finally, this is all for the company presentation. So now I will present you the different best practices that we have implemented. They are all based on the FinOps principles that you all know. Now, the next slide is a bit complex so far, but I will explain it. Initially, it was animated, but now it is no more animated. So you recognize in the blue octagon the famous 6 principles, and I will look at with you and explain you what we are doing for each of them. Team needs to collaborate. So we have a monthly meeting with each team having a solution on the cloud. It could be monthly or every 2 months or every 3 months, depending on the maturity of the team, which are running solutions on the cloud. And we are reviewing, inform, optimize, and operate regularly so far in order to improve and also cascading some awareness during this session. We collaborate with the different persona. I told you my favorite one is financial controller so far because we have excellent relationships, especially in the domain that we'll see afterward about the forecasting. Second principle, decisions are driven by business value of cloud. I insist, I am not a cost killer. I am not a cost killer. I always try to balance the needs of the business, the level of service that they are requiring, and I propose solution which is matching their SLA at the optimal cost. I use sometimes to take an example like you want to take a train, you want to go to Barcelona to Madrid, you can take a plane, a train, a car, a bicycle if you are sportive or whatever. I am asking, what do you want to do? I mean, what is your level of service? You want to be in 1 hour, you want to be in 4 hours or whatever? If they say 4 hours, I will propose the train or the car. And finally, depending on some tunings, they will select the car, something like that. This is very important. I am not a cost killer. Everyone take ownership for their cloud usage. This is probably the most important for me. The first one is team provide cost forecast. They provide forecast twice per quarter. And we have a KPI which is measuring this forecast versus the amortized cost. Very important. You will see later why this is important. Forecast is really inside the culture of the company. 100% of the services are charged back to the team. You will see later the allocation key, how we do that. And even if I propose some optimization, the final decision is taken by the team because everyone takes ownership of their cloud usage. If at the end of the meeting there is no decision, the meeting is not stopped. This decision could be we postpone because we need to do more study or whatever, but all optimization proposed are decided we go or we not go by the team owning the solution. The centralized team, so basically we are doing evangelization of FinOps. We are producing plenty of material in terms of Viva Engage, communication, webinar, SharePoint pages. I do participate with purchasing and the architect to the rate discussion with Microsoft. We are buying all the commitments centrally. We never buy any commitment decentralized. Centrally, it's a way to control and to ensure the commitments are used at 100%. And all the discounts are discussed and optimized centrally so far with a different team. Next principle, FinOps report should be accessible and timely. So for that, with the support of Microsoft, we have developed some Power BI, which are showing daily the showback, and monthly we are doing the chargeback to SAP. And we have some financial and technical reports that I will present you a couple of examples at the end of this presentation. The cost could be available per organization, per solution, per cost center, per landscape, or whatever. I am doing few dashboard technical so far. My customer are the management, the solutions, the business, the CAD engineers, or whatever. So this is the reason why I am insisting to have the cost available by your organization, project, or solution. And we have plenty of automation alert, email like RI which is underused, or there is a new resource group which has been created, and therefore we need to create the allocation key or others. Finally, the last principle, take advantage of the variable cost model of the cloud. Again, Microsoft, like probably any other CSPs, are delivering plenty of new services regularly with new price or whatever. For example, here I am pushing the different teams to use the latest version of the VM because they are more powerful, sometimes they are cheaper, they are better in terms of sustainability so far versus the V2 that they could use or whatever. And in this domain also, I am very flexible with the forecasting. We have every 2 months a forecast exercise, but it may happen that suddenly a team needs to create a new landscape because there is a big business demand. They can come to me, no problem. We adapt the forecast according to their need. I communicate with the financial controller, and we try to manage who can give the cost to someone else for them to implement their new solution. So this was the most complicated slide. Sorry for that. Huh? Next one. So we have also developed a few governance model, very simple, 3 steps that I will tell you. The first one is when we embark a new team on the cloud, or we implement for the first time an application on the cloud. Here, this is purely very simple, but at least we try to adhere to this principle regularly. The first thing I'm doing, I am organizing a meeting with them, and I present the FinOps framework and all the teams that will support them. Support them to determine the cost of their solution or not. I am sharing the naming convention to be used, very important naming convention, because it is the way you could do correct reporting and correct cost allocation. I am sharing the recommended compute or database services. We have developed internal standard. We should use this one, or this one, etc. I am sharing plenty of templates for them to evaluate the cost of their project in pay-as-you-go. For that, I do the education of using Azure pricing calculator. They do all their initial budget in pay-as-you-go. And finally, we plan the next meeting. Immediately, this is the first type of meeting. Alors, why I'm doing that? I want that the project team understands the benefits of the FinOps. Sometimes they are new, they don't understand, they say, oh shit, FinOps will be a bottleneck, a constraint for us. No, 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 no. I am here, or the other guy are here to help them. And the best practice that I am sharing to all is that let's run this new solution in pay-as-you-go for 3 months, minimum. Let them tune the database, the performance, etc. Don't do any optimization before minimum 3 months, because it will be readapted. So you let them run 3 months in pay-as-you-go, they adapt the solution, they say, this is okay, we meet the SLA, the users are satisfied, we start to do either financial or technical optimization. Second scenario, you have an application which is running for a long time on Azure. What I am doing for anomaly detection and advisor suggestion. You have plenty of guys in the different projects which are very overloaded by what they have to deliver. So they have few times, except for big projects where they have named a FinOps counterpart for me, but the rest they have no time. So what I am doing rapidly every day, checking the cost trend, unexpected deviations like RI underuse, or automatic alerts that I am receiving, but also the team are receiving. So here in the example, the first one is that you see that the reservation is used at 0%. So there is really a problem here. They probably stop, it was quite a database here, SQL data warehouse. It's even not a database, it's Synapse Analytics. So far, or the second one, there is a jump immediately. This could be an anomaly, or this could be something that it was planned but not communicated. What I am doing a deep study with them or out with them. I try to identify the possible remediation or the extra optimization that could be done. I contact the application team. They take the decision about my proposal. I will never force anything. They take the decision. You can, in that case, we can potentially reallocate the reserve instances to another project, temporarily, the time they will restart their environment or whatever. But they take the decision themselves. And action which has been decided is reviewed at the next meeting. Will it be beneficial or not beneficial so far? So why we are doing that? But this is a principle. Huh? Everyone take ownership of their cloud usage. I'm just advisor. I said there is something wrong. We can do like that. Take the decision. Alors, best practice is that I do provide myself or some of my colleagues expertise and the time that the project team don't have for doing that FinOps. Again, this is most of the time for small team having big pressure. For large teams, they have my counterpart in their team, and we have regular contact to see how to mitigate all these deviations. Finally, this one is very important. It's what we call the keep the light on. What we want is the FinOps is always active inside the company. So we developed some SharePoint pages. Here you can see pages explaining how to implement automatic stop and manual restart of the virtual machine. We have some Viva Engage cloud channels, so I publish regularly to keep the communication on. I am organizing webinars for new practice, new tools, or any new techniques that could be delivered by Microsoft, for example. And finally, I am always putting a special attention on the forecast. You remember I told you which is very important. It's part of the company culture in this different webinar. Alors, we want to maintain the focus with regular publication so far, and the best practice is having documented all that in a SharePoint makes the life much more easier for a new project starting on the cloud. Now, I will explain you what we have. It's not a game, but at least on a quarterly basis, we are recognizing the best FinOps performer. And we have an award which is published on Yammer, which is recognized, sent to the DTIT management or to the division manager so far. And what we publish on a quarterly basis is the teams who have provided the best forecast versus the amortized cost. So we have a ratio, and those who have, let's say, something like very close, let's say 1 or 2% deviation, they got the award and they are celebrated so far. We are also highlighting the teams or the application which got the best saving by implementing stop and start. Always automatic stop and always manual start, never automatic start so far. And we can go up to 80% saving. We are doing the same for saving plan. Here, how to influence that? It is mainly for the team who are implementing the newest version of the VM so far, and reserve instances, where we can go up to 65% saving for the company who want to commit as much as possible. So rewarding quarterly the solution and team which optimize the best is a way to recognize the effort in front of the management. This is very important. And getting the management recognition maintains the team commitment and motivation. You know, when the management is happy, I remember one day the guy from ERP was very satisfied because he was the winner of the reserve instances. He said about to all his team. But his colleague was unhappy at all. He said, why we don't do like that as well? It was for the MD, manufacturing data analytics way so far. So this is creating emulation inside the company. A bit of competition, but let's say more emulations. Now, let's go more pragmatic and how we do collect the data. and allocate the cost for Azure. Alors, we are using something very, let's say, traditional. So we have a daily extraction of the cost inside the cost management using the management of the cost management API call. And we are collecting only the 7 last days of the consumptions. And we compress that and we store that in a blob storage. This is the first process. It is running every night so far. We only keep the last 6 days so far. So cumulatively, we have a long period of time. And we have another process. So we have developed our reporting tool using Power BI. We have a service which is running nightly, extracting the last 365 days so far, reading the Azure blob storage. Okay? Then the data is enriched by internal data. So it could be the ST organization, it could be the financial calendar for the chargeback, it could be the forecast, it could be the exchange rate. Even we are collecting from internet the day of the time change to adapt the timing for the different teams, which could be in Singapore or whatever, or in America, etc. And from this report, this is giving the daily showback and the monthly chargeback that will be sent to SAP. So you see, relatively simple process, but decouple. Why we do that? The first thing that we need minimum 5 years of history. In Azure, I think you have only 365 days, or 1 year, if I am correct. So let's say historizing the data in a blob storage, you can keep 5 years or even more. 5 years for ST is basically because our contract with Microsoft is 5 years, so we are able to compare what is invoiced, etc., or what is our consumption versus the original PO. Second process, different is for the allocation. I give you an example. We may have, before the Saturday of the closing, some adjustment to be done, either in the forecast or anywhere. So we need to rerun rapidly after some ST data enrichment to rerun the Power BI service. And we can do it without re-extracting everything from Microsoft Azure. So we adopt that. We can do an on-spot run in order to have the correct chargeback or seeing what is the impact of the change of the forecast versus my past consumption, etc. So this is my advice. Do it in 2 steps, data ingestion and cost allocation or data enrichment in a separate process. The cost allocation. Alors, the cost allocation at ST, it's a single key which is done outside of the CSP. So we have a cross-charge key which is giving you a cost center. And this cross-charge key belongs to an ST organization and a sub-organization. So it could be a division and a subdivision. So it could be the product group, I don't know, memory, subdivision, the memory, ABC or whatever so far. The cross-charge key represents a solution which belongs to a project, a solution having multiple applications. How do we access this key for Azure? We are using a combination of subscription and resource group. All services of Azure must run at minimum under a subscription. So with this key, you are sure to charge back 100% of what is running. And by the way, you don't care for what is not taggable, etc. Just recall, if you use tag, there is still around 20% of services which are not taggable or it's difficult to tag or whatever. I don't want to have a process complicated to say every end of month for the shared cost or non-taggable cost, we will take some proportion or whatever that will introduce plenty of discussion with the different teams. That way, I am sure that this is fully charged back 100%. Alors, again, we are not so much tag-oriented, except for one case, which is for CAD HPC project. So the design of our puce can be computed on Azure. This is very large batch, which can run for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. The cost of such a batch could be a fortune. So when we launch the batch, we have a specific tag, which is the project code. This project code will be used at the closing time to impact the P&L of the division which is producing this chip. Very important. Why? Because at the end, when they calculate the price of the chip they will sell, they will include all the compute that they have run under Azure. My advice is that tag what is static, landscape, or a particular, I don't know, SAP will potentially always belong to finance, you can put finance. All things which are dynamic, don't tag it. Use something like that, allocation key. In my company, the ST organization is revisited twice per year. It's very easy to adapt my allocation key outside of CAP. If the key will be in a tag, imagine the number of services that should be updated. The tag should be updated in each services immediately, because when the company is reorganized, it is starting the first month of the decision. First day of the month of the decision. So this is an advice. Allocation key here, using subscription and resource group, you can charge 100% of your cost. Do it outside of the CSP to have the flexibility. Depend on your business case, for sure. Huh? But for me, twice reorganization per year would be a drama to do it inside Azure. It would be too complex. Feasible, but too complex. Focus. So you have seen what I have done so far for let's say, the standard Azure detail amortized process. I will tell you what I have done. By the way, it's what I will present also tomorrow at the keynote. What I have done, what we have implemented as for focus, what was the benefit, the challenge, and basically the lesson learned and the benefit, for sure. So you remember I presented you the legacy process that we have with Azure Detail Amortized. So basically, what we did, we will work on the data ingestions, which is the main process that will have to be adapted. So we take the same principle, but here we said, let's try to use as much as possible the standard features of Microsoft. So here we are using the export features, which is extracting daily the month-to-date data, compressing the file, and we store this file on a separate blob storage specific for Focus. And now I learned that it will be per Focus and per version of Focus so far. So this is a way, again, to collect, if you want, the data and to keep 5 years of history. Second process, the Power BI service, we have to adapt it, because the format is really different. And here we got, what I said, plenty of challenges. I will give you a couple of challenges that we have. The first one is really to understand the metadata of Focus. Alors, this is not my mother language, English. Sometimes I read the definition of FinOps. I start to hesitate. Is it effectively my effective cost, my contract cost, my bill cost, or my list price cost, or whatever? I may have understand. Microsoft also did his own dictionary, so sometimes I have to compare so far. And here, as everyone, you can do mistake. Another example, on the traditional data extraction with Azure Detail Amortized, you have one field to qualify a reservation. One field which is telling you a reservation. In Focus, you have 2 fields. One which is telling you it's a commitment, another one which is telling you it's a reservation or a saving plan or a spot. So you have to adapt your filtering and your sort like that, because it is different compared to the previous one. Another example, in Focus, we are using ISO country code. It was not the case for Microsoft. So the first day I was displaying my cost per region, there was nothing so far. I was a bit surprised, but it was just a question to readapt with the ISO currency code. Or the last example I have was last week. Suddenly I have 600 euros difference in my Focus report compared to the traditional one. I work with my colleague here so far, and I said I did a mistake in my allocation key or whatever. No, finally, Focus introduced a new value for the record, which is purchase. And it was a marketplace purchase I did, but as I have filtered on only usage, I was not collecting that. Therefore, what is the result? All the rest is unchanged. We are impacted the data ingestion and the enrichment, but you have to do a parallel run, focus and legacy every month till the time you get the same call result. It's difficult to be right from the day one, so you run it regularly, and after 2-3 months, you are very close so far. I have done this implementation with Focus Preview for Microsoft. Now the costs are matching. I am redoing for the V1.0, and I'm still in parallel run so far for that. Well, lesson learned, data ingestion was a challenge for sure, but we did it one time, and now we have the expertise. Therefore, at the end, for the next CSP or the next SaaS, it will be very simple because we know the trap that we fall inside because we were not understanding clearly the different metadata. The cost allocation, you remember the key so far, but you see here that subscription and resource group are very CSP dependent. Huh? They are data from Microsoft, so we have a similar data ingestion when I will implement the next CSP. However, for giving an example, Amazon has no resource group. They have accounts. Okay, so the beauty of that is that having my key external to CSP, I will be able to reuse, just changing the path to access my key. But thanks to Focus, I will have the data in a standard way. So it will be very easy to readapt what I will get from Focus. In the case of Amazon, I will take the account and potentially to access my key, it will be only the account code so far to access my key. So just saying that when you jump for a next CSP, you have your external key. Yes, you need to do the matching. Focus will bring you the data, so it will make the things easier. So finally, what are the benefits of Focus for ST? Simplification everywhere. You do a first effort, definitively. You remove the complexity, and we speak one language. Very important, one language. Huh? Simplified operation, because basically we have taken the same approach. Remember, data ingestion, second process, which is taking the 365 days so far. So for the team supporting the process, very similar. Similar data ingestion and data allocation, but a unique way to charge back in SAP. So finally, when we go to Amazon for the next SaaS or whatever, all the process to go to SAP will be already existing. So we have done one time the education of Focus, for sure, to all the employees and the persona. Some are familiar, some still need to be trained again. And for sure, speaking the same financial language, you avoid misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the data. Especially when you look at the dashboard, you know that what is now this type of information or whatever. When you see a purchase, it's a purchase from the marketplace so far, which was not the case before. So this makes the reporting much more easy to understand and consistent between the different CSPs. And finally, going for the next one will be much easier. We just change the data ingestions, the rest, processing, post-processing, enrichment, up to SAP, basically will be okay. And the dashboard will be very similar. Okay? Now I will be more concrete, and I will show you a couple of examples that I have implemented, sometime with the help of Microsoft so far. So I will not give too much examples. The first one, a financial dashboard, is this one. Forecasting, again, it's part of our DNA inside the company. Every 2 months, we collect the forecast and update the forecast for each application. The first month of the quarter, the last month of the quarter. Except in July, where we collect a 3 years forecast. Not only for Azure, for the company worldwide. Huh? So far. The forecast is measured versus the application amortized cost, which is giving a KPI, which is giving a monthly KPI by application, a quarterly KPI, which is sent to the management. In this example, for each line, you have the forecast provided and the amortized cost once the invoice has been received. We do the delta, which is giving the KPI below in percentage. For mature application, we accept a deviation of -15 to +15. For a new application, we accept a deviation from -35% to +35%. For the amber and the red, they will receive my call. And we will redo the exercise, replan everything so far till they get something serious. So, and by the way, this is taken very seriously because each employee, like myself, has a variable compensation on the accuracy of the forecast. I think for myself, if I provide a forecast which is between 95% to 102, I will get a bonus. Else you get nothing. With that, you are motivated to give a good forecast, huh? You want to have it. So this one is well-known, reviewed. Everyone knows that, and they are controlling regularly their forecast. Second dashboard, this is the most appreciated one by the management. Alors, in the life, it will be the absolute value. Huh? You will not have XXX or percentage. Huh? So it is showing, for the current year, the invoiced amount that we have received from Microsoft. By the way, one Y is missing. Sorry for... in terms of digits, we have one digit more so far. And giving up to the last invoice, the not the percentage, the absolute value of savings that we have done by reservation, saving plan, stop and start of the different services. And the last one, it's something a bit particular. We are measuring every time there is a disruption of the service, if the service was under SLA or not. If it is not under SLA, we are claiming to Microsoft a credit, and we are receiving a credit back because the service was not achieved according to the contract that we have signed with them. So this is the most appreciated one by the management. Every quarter they ask me, where are we? Where are we? So I provide the screen picture. We started in 2018, so we are at 60, 70 million or whatever. So far, we have done since the beginning, and by the way, we started optimization only in 2020. We have now 33% saving only with these 4 dimensions. We don't measure all the technical saving, like removing the waste, oversized VM, or whatever, because there is no so easy way to calculate the savings that we do in euro. So this one is very important, appreciated by the management, and it helps our DTIT management to demonstrate above, to justify the best usage of the cloud at ultimate cost. Because for sure, the top management also looking at those costs. I mean, it's not peanuts at the end. So they are measuring that. Well, they're happy to see the savings that we are doing so far. Next one, which is a few technical dashboard. I will go fast. This one is very interesting. I have been developing that with Nicola from Microsoft. It's a way to determine how far I can go with the optimization of the saving plan. Saving plan, you do recall, you commit to pay a certain amount per hours, Microsoft give you a saving. But we don't have so much visibility of this saving. And I remember in the insider coffee that we have to go step by step. But if you go step by step, you need to see that. So this report is showing you, for the compute only, the number of CPU hours and how they are charged. The dark blue, it's the CPU hours charged in reserve instances. Light blue, it's pay-as-you-go. Amber, it's saving plan. So just to give you an example how I use that, you see mid of October, I probably decided to buy 15 euro per hours of compute. So the compute which was charged with the saving plan cost and the discount increased, impacted directly the pay-as-you-go, but not the reservation, because the reservation has a higher discount. I wait 1 month, and the number of CPU hours for pay-as-you-go was still high. So I decided to buy an extra 10 euro per hours, increase and decrease, up to the level where I will keep a minimum of pay-as-you-go to enable the SysOps to stop the service for maintenance, for upgrade, or whatever. I think this is coming from Microsoft, which is giving some best practices. You should keep 40% pay-as-you-go, 30-30 for AI saving plan. In this example, which is a very stable one, I have been able to go up to 20% pay-as-you-go, 55% RI, and 25% saving plan. This is a way to see how far you can go to the saving plan optimization because it is really visible. Else, you just have a recommendation from Microsoft in their, when you buy saving plan. They tell you 30 euro, but would it be not too much or a bit under? So I don't know where I go. This one is very interesting. And the last technical dashboard I will show you, it is the number of hours each VM which are under stop-start are run per day. So you see maybe, I don't know, 15 hours it run for the day or whatever. This was implemented initially for the consultant for a big application. We have 35 consultants. And you can see the VM names so far and the day. And you see that some VM only run two days in the month because the consultant was only 2 days at ST. The rest, he was with another customer or whatever. And you see that first, we decrease the number of hours per day, but also we remove plenty of days where the consultants are not there. The VM is stopped automatically in the evening. The guy receives an email saying, do you want to keep the stop or do you want to extend for 1 hour, 2 hours? He can click and say, I want 2 hours more. I even say, I want to the VM running during the night because I have a long process, or it will be stopped. In the morning, he has to start it manually. Stopping VM night, weekend, and vacation, you can reach 80% of saving for the consultant computer, but now we are even implementing that for few production environment. This is, I remember we did implement that just before Christmas 2023. We have done in 2 weeks 35k euro saving in 2 weeks with just the implementation. Thank you for your listening. I hope I didn't bother you too much.
Big round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much, Pierre-Emmanuel. That was extraordinary.
There is still 3 minutes for questions if needed.
1 or 2 questions. Does anybody have one top of mind here? Oh.
You were saying that there is an incentive for to match the forecast.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the reservation also? Because that's applied everywhere, or it's
no. Alors, for each reservation which has been acquired, I name them with the owner. So the reservation is called RI, underscore the name of the application who committed to use it, underscore the name provided by Azure. And if there is any deviation or whatever, we can manage, but at least we know the owner of the RI. And we can discuss with him or the team who benefit from the RI. But for the cost, for the allocation, all the discounts are included and they should take care in the forecast they provide.
All right, one more question right here.
Yeah, congrats, Pierre-Emmanuel. Bastien, here.
Oh, sorry.
Big fan of the work, so congrats for the work you've done, because a huge perimeter and, as you said at the beginning, a few people to do that, so kudos to you. Question, how did React the main applications owners, and what tactics did you use or are you using to involve them to have the broader picture on FinOps and that they feel their accountability?
First of all, I try to use a lot of empathy so far and to tell them I am here to help you. So don't worry, you may do mistake at the beginning in the forecast or in your estimation or whatever. I will help you. I provide you template. We can do the first cost estimation together using the Azure saving calculator or Azure pricing calculator. I work with them at the very beginning. But I am quite strict. I mean, they work, they can do, it's something that I learned with an American company, by the way. You can do twice the same mistake, but not 3 times. So, I mean, they can do a mistake or whatever. I come back a second time. The third time, I am a little bit more strong. So, finally, that I tell you, You have done the mistake. I told you how to avoid it. Now you should be able to do it by yourself. But it's okay. I mean, again, like very big company, very big teams like SAP team, manufacturing, data analytics, they have developed their own FinOps expertise with the monthly meetings that we have. And they come with the minute of meetings that we are discussing together. I'm not even preparing myself. So this is, but okay, it not take 1 month. Huh? It can take 6 months or a year so far. But if you bring the benefit and you help them to get the good forecast, 7 seconds, they will be happy. They will have a benefit in their variable salary. Thank
All
you.
right, everybody, I lied. We are going to do one more question quickly, but when we're finished with that, everybody can make their way across the hall to the mega room where we had the merch bar. There are 2 open bars in there and food, and we're having a reception until 7:30 this evening there. All right, one more quick question.
May I ask you, when you make prediction, to which data you related? To previous data or to transaction, to which data? It's first question. And second, you tell that prediction to 3 years. And did you make for 1 year or only for 3?
For the reservation? When you see for...
You show one slide when
Yeah.
was prediction by every department with red one and green one.
yes, for the forecasting.
Yeah, how it makes for previous data, I mean, which methodology?
How do we work? Well, first, for sure, when you provide a 3 years forecast, it's a bit like that, because you even don't know which application will come. But it is not Azure. This is the company, whatever the division, etc., has to provide a forecast. And after, the forecast is revisited every month for the coming quarter or the next 2 coming quarters so far. In October, they give the forecast for the next year. So far, what is important is that when we reach half of the month, you cannot change anymore your forecast, because you will lie a little bit and say, well, I will reach 100, I have only 95, I will put 99 or whatever. But this is the way. This is repeated. I mean, we are able to provide a forecast update as long as you communicate to the financial controller. But there is a period when you can do it, and a period you can't do it. But for the 3 years, well, fine. At the very beginning, it was like that. But with Microsoft, we have done 5 years forecast. I really remember so far. The first year, we only consume 80% of the forecast. The second year, 127%. You know, it's not a matter. It's not a matter. We just have to tune it regularly for the financial controller to get the good result. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. One final round for Pierre-Emmanuel. That was fantastic.
Thanks for watching. Check out more FinOps X Europe content on our YouTube channel playlist. Like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and leave comments and questions for speakers to help our channel. We appreciate your support.